I've been thinking about flow, and we can get so trapped up in our head about how to solve problems or where to move forward and what's right and what's not right, and we get caught up and trapped in the mind with either something that's happening within our own heart or something that's much more broad out there in the world that we're all working with. And sometimes when there's either problems that need solutions or pathways that need to be found, traveling the right way, we can get really complicated and trapped up in our head and overthink and overdo and over strain. And this doesn't serve us very well, certainly in the body, when we find ourselves holding a lot of tension from whatever's happening in our mind. uh, Figure out where in your body tension tends to go. A lot of people feel it in their neck and shoulders, but perhaps for you, it's somewhere different in your body where tension tends to trap. But we all have spots where, the musings in our head and trying to solve problems or figure out how to proceed, and it locks within us and we lose the flow. So gaining flow is one of the, first of all, it feels amazing, right? When you feel like you're in the flow, and are kind of suspended from past or future or judgment or expectations, but you're just in the moment. It's such a, not only is it beautiful, but it's very alive. There's a lot of truth and just centeredness that lives in that. And in the Yoga Sutra, we talk about it in the sense of balancing. There's a lot about it in the sutra, but specifically the sense of when you have something that you're working with, a problem that you're solving, or something that in society you're working with, trying to figure out, that is complicated. Sometimes our best option is to balance the forces of standing true to trying to figure something out, but also backing away and surrendering yourself into the flow, and reducing your need to have to solve so much. And sometimes, I'm sure you've all had this experience when you suddenly let go of, like, okay, I'm just going to not think about that. I'm not going to worry about that right now. And suddenly the solutions arrive, or the creative process arrives. So sometimes we need to take that step back and dip into the flow and into the surrender to find it. So that's the balance in the sutra of, having strong effort with deep surrender. So cultivating presence and the capacity to use your will to stay with the something, but to also it's like the rock in the river, like be the rock and be the river flowing over the rock, so that you can be both steady and moving simultaneously. And a lot of times this is where solutions typically arrive. So I'm going to read two passages from the Tao to you today. And the first, I'll read one now, one later, but the first is in a little bit in regard to this, where, we have to find the opposition of what we're experiencing in order to feel whole and be in the flow. If you want to become whole, let yourself be partial. If you want to become straight, let yourself be crooked. If you want to become full, let yourself be empty. If you want to be reborn, let yourself die. If you want to be given everything, give everything up. The Master, by residing in the Tao, sets an example for all beings. Because he doesn't display himself, people can see his light. Because he has nothing to prove, people can trust his words. Because he doesn't know who he is, people recognize themselves in him. Because he has no goal in mind, everything he does succeeds. When the ancient masters said, if you want to be given everything, give everything up, they weren't using empty phrases. Only in being lived by the Tao can you be truly yourself. So close your eyes and let's just settle ourselves into a good seated posture. Are you comfortable? Is your body at ease? How do you create a sense of flow within you? Is your body, scan right now, and maybe it means you need to lie down or stand up or choose a different pathway in order for you to let go of the parts of you that are stubborn and tight, holding for whatever reason, and let the flow come. So how do you empty yourself out so that you can be filled up? How do you allow yourself to drop into the flow of this? Remember your breath. It's a path to follow into this. I don't think by coincidence that our life-giving force, the breath, the prana, is also something that's eternally flowing, that it doesn't stop moving. So just become the breath. Sink yourself into the feeling and the rhythm of your breathing, however it is right now, whether it's choppy or smooth or tight or expansive, shallow or full, it doesn't matter. Just come into what your flow of breath is right now. Let your eyes settle behind your lids. Melt all the expressions of your face, these ways that we concentrate to solve and to judge and to expect. Can we create that blank slate so that things can come through us instead of from us? Feel the rise of the spine, the drop of the shoulders, sense of ease through your palms. Rest easy. Scan your body, the places the obvious places where you tend to hold tension. Scan there. Imagine that you're dissolving rock with water. Let your breath travel deep into the body. Feel the belly, feel the pelvis. Feel the back of your body. Feel the sides. Fill yourself up without force, so we're not pushing or opening. Place your palms together and bow in. The flow of the Tao, the flow of energy, prana, however you want to think of it, it's right here. It doesn't exist in the past or the future. It's just in this moment. Breathing in, breathe it out. Offer an intention. What can you melt away in your practice so that you can see more clearly the flow? How can you release tension that's built up within you in your mind or your body? Can you surrender problem-solving expectations? Can you instead just be in this moment? Let's release the hands and come onto your back. All right, so lie down. All right, let's take a moment. Just feel comfortable on your back for a moment. Stretch your arms overhead. Maybe it makes you want to yawn. It always makes me want to yawn, but maybe not. So just find the pleasure of waking up your body a little bit. Stretch through the right, stretch through the left. If you want to squeeze some muscles, squeeze some muscles. If you want to relax some muscles, relax some muscles. Just find that length through right side, find the length through left side. And then relax your arms down and bring your knees into your chest. Rock around a little bit, sway from side to side. Enjoy the soothing nature of rocking. Let your head slosh left to right, let the brain slosh left to right. So let not just your sacrum rock, but your whole torso. What can you relax enough to give in to the sway? All right, and then let's circle the knees. A few circles one direction, and a few circles another direction. Let's just take your time. And then right knee into the chest. Left leg is long on the floor. Extend through your spine, feel your feet, open things up, especially if you've had tight, clunky shoes on, just open your feet up, let things spread out and expand. And then bring your left knee into your chest, right foot on the floor, right leg on the floor, open your feet up again. Just notice the extension of the spine, the extension of the leg, the deep squeeze in the hip joint. And then release that leg down onto the ground. Stretch open to a starfish. Just pause here for a moment. So for the first little bit here, let's get very strong. So as you stretch, make it a very active stretch from navel to tips and squeeze all your muscles. So just find that sense of everything in you, finding some strength and some squeeze, and then relax and melt that and let yourself release and relax onto the floor. You can wobble your legs or your arms, just sink down. Just find the surrender, that sense of yielding, dropping into the floor. What part of you easily drops? Where do you feel like, oh yeah, I can let that go so quickly, so fast? And what other parts of your body take a little bit of coaxing to drop into the earth? So scan your body and notice this for yourself. And then the next time we come into expansion, feel the energy body and the physical body expanding together. So stretching from the center outward to your limbs. And then exhale and pick up your knees. Bring your knees into your chest. Your head comes up too. Put your head back down. Open your legs up, arms and legs wide. Big breath in. Exhale, knees into the chest. Chin up. Let's do it one more time. Feel the fullness. Integrate your limbs and your center. And then while your head is up and you're squeezing in, take a deep breath. Exhale all your air out, and now squeeze all your muscles here. Give everything you got a little squeeze. Just waking up. And then relax your head down one last time. Feel your melting nature into the floor. And your arms can be where you want. Your legs can be where you want. You don't have to be spread out. You can be closer in. Melt into the floor. Give yourself that yielding of dropping in. All right, and then we're going to bring our knees into our chest and roll over onto our side. Come up onto your hands and your knees. And just notice, what do you need in your body? Do you need a little bit more vigorous movement? Do you need some softness? Did you sleep well last night? Are you tired? How do you treat your body best? So if you're really trying to figure out how to be in the flow, that means figuring out what your body and mind need. Instead of what I'm offering out, you get to modify anything that you do. So start with some cat-cows and decide whether you want to, deepen your effort or your stretch, or if you want to back away, or if there's a different pathway that you need to take, if there's stability that needs to be cultivated, if there's surrender that needs to be cultivated. Only you can dive into your own awareness of those needs. So your job is to pay attention, to be in this moment, start swirling around, move your body any way you want to move it. Your job is to pay attention and honor the needs that you have right now. The breath is such a teacher. Not only does it teach us to feel our bodies well, but it brings us into the moment. All right, let's stretch back to child's pose. Take your hips back toward the heels. Relax your forehead toward the floor. Rest your arms wherever is a good place for them. Then inhale and walk the hands over to the left side, opening the right rib cage up. Relax the base of the skull. There's softness here. Drop weight down into the pelvis. Open up the rhythms of the body and breathe deeply. So now we have a very active breath. So stretch the lungs themselves. Just like we stretched our body. See if you can feel that openness deep in the lung field. Stretch the alveoli. Open, open, open as you inhale. And then surrender as you exhale. Come back, come to the other side. Inch your arms over to the other way. Always protect your shoulders, so if there's something different that needs to happen, take that. Settle down your hips. Even if you can't drop deep into your knee flexion, that's okay. Just go where you are able to go.
Once again, open the alveoli. See if those little sacs in the base of your lungs, visualize them, you know, like you're inflating a balloon to its biggest space before it pops. Feel that you're inflating the alveoli, bringing all this oxygen deep into your lung tissue. Surrender on the exhale. Relax, come back to center, come up onto all fours, finding our twist. Inhale, lift the right arm up in the air. Exhale and slide that shoulder down. Open up the back body now, feel the ribs, see what's here. What do you feel? What does this posture do to and for you? How is your breath living in this pose? And then inhale, reach that arm all the way back up to the sky. Place the hand down onto the ground. Left arm lifting. Exhale and slide that shoulder down. Gaze toward the floor. Deepen the breath. Thigh bones back. Deep inhale. Deep, steady exhale. And then inhale, reach that arm all the way back up. Place the hand down onto the ground. Curl the toes under and find a dog pose. So feel free to move around here. Pedal your feet, bend a knee, drop a heel. Just find any kind of movement that you need to find. Feel a sense of length and space. Breathe deeply. The rib cage is integrating into the body instead of collapsing and falling toward the floor. How are your shoulders? Are they in a happy place? Can you feel the roots of your hands? Where is the surrender living here? So come into the flow, come into the yielding. So yield into the earth and push off. Feel the breath finding flow. There's so many little ways to experience flow in the body and in the breath. So where are you feeling it? What is working for you when you're trying to stay in the present flow of the moment instead of analyzing, solving, judging, discussing, complicating things? Of course, everything is complicated to fix, but sometimes stepping away and feeling the simplicity is our best solution. Or at the very least, it's nourishing to us. Bring your feet forward, come into Uttanasana, fold whatever it needs folding, relax your head, feel a sense of surrender through your skull, through the base of the skull, through the eyes, through the jaw. Deep breaths here. Inhale for a halfway lift. The sit bones lift, the spine grows. Exhale and melt back down. Fold in half. Let's do that one more time. Inhale for a halfway lift. Thigh bones move back. Knees are soft. Spine grows. Exhale and melt. Fold in. Push off your feet, rise up, reaching the arms to the sky, lean back a little bit if it feels good. Cactus, open the arms, feel the chest broaden, then exhale and round it. Bring your palms down or keep them at your heart, whatever feels good. Let's have a moment just to close your eyes and explore some yielding. Can you feel, if you have trouble with yielding, if your body doesn't go there very quickly or easily, feel the extremes. So sink, collapse your body, get weighted into the floor, and then just do the opposite. Push yourself up off the floor and find the balance just between the two, where you have connection, you have flow moving down, you have flow moving up. The breath moves steadily through you. Your joints are not locked out. Does it feel good? What can you surrender? What is your body able to surrender? What is your mind able to surrender? Inhale, reach the arms to the sky. Cactus, open your arms, spread things out, lift and open the chest, and then exhale and round in, let the back body round to the chin. Reach the arms back up. Swing them around, interlace your hands behind your back. So it's okay if your hands don't come very far away from your spine. You can also have them move very far away from your spine. So whatever works for you as you come forward. Let the head relax. Keep lifting the heads of the arm bones. The shoulder blades are moving toward each other. And then relax your arms down. Grab onto your elbows. Your knees are still pretty deeply bent. I mean, you can have them straight if your body works well in that way, but often when we surrender a little bit more, we actually have more depth than if we try to lock our knees out. Relax your head. Deep breath in and away. Inhale for a halfway lift. You can hold the tops of your thighs or your shins. Exhale and melt. Step back to a lunge with your right foot forward and your left foot back. Finding the breath. Deep inhale, deep exhale. Let's put our back knee onto the ground. Open your chest, just feel the hip flexor stretch. Our psoas muscle, the front of our hip, connecting to our spine, is often a very unconscious muscle of tension when we are trying to fix things, when we are resisting against things, when we're protecting against things. This is a muscle that often grips up without us knowing it. So let's just open some space here, lift up through your spine, take both arms and extend, lengthen from your back knee to your sternum. Big breath in and away. All right, let's release our hands down onto the ground. Pick your back knee up now and start to open up the backs of the legs. Drop in, start moving. Come into a lunge, exhale, back with your legs straight, or maybe you're inhaling, whatever feels good for the breath. Just getting used to both opening the front of your back leg and the back of your front leg. What feels good? When you feel the sensation of stretch, can you surrender into it a little bit? I mean, that's not to say don't lose your stability, but can you surrender into the sensation so that the pathways through your muscle fibers, let's straighten-ish your front leg and pause here for a moment. Can you find the pathways of your muscle fibers extending and surrender each little spot? See what you can find in all those little fibers to let go and release the tension of the top rubber band that's holding them. Okay. Bring the knee back in to a lunge. Extend the spine, walk your back foot forward. Halfway lift if you want. Feel the spine grow, exhale and melt back down. Other foot back. So find your lunge. Left foot is now forward, right foot is back. Feel the extension. Let's put our knee down onto the ground. Start to open the hip flexors on this leg. So surrender does not mean collapse. So just like the yielding, that we're not collapsing or propping, we're finding something right in between. So have the energy of the front heel and the back knee supporting a lift of the spine without losing the ability to lengthen those muscle fibers through your hip flexors. Extend the spine. Maybe your arms come up. Maybe they don't. See what it feels like for your shoulders, for your breath. Can you stabilize? Can you open? Have the balance between the two. The two become one. Melt as best as you can those two forces into one sensation. All right, and then relax the hands down onto the ground. Pick your back knee up and let's start to move and flow here. Move with the breath. Breath is our guide. It teaches us how to flow. Let's use it. Typically, if you're stuck trying to solve a problem, or if you're stuck ruminating over a past problem, or afraid to move forward in some way, usually the breath is locked up in that. So if you can't figure out a solution, come into the breath over and over. Just keep finding the flow, and things will find their way. Straighten both your legs for a moment, or straighten-ish. Doesn't matter if your front leg is able to go all the way straight. Just moving it in that direction. The hip is stretching back. Feel the fibers wherever you're feeling it, whether it's in your hamstring or your IT band or the back of your spine. See if you can breathe your way into the extension. Ahead and bring your back foot forward. Inhale for a halfway lift. Exhale and melt back down. Touch your toes, come to a squat. Bring your arm, go low like you're skiing down a long hill. Reach the arms back behind you. Feel the back body engaged. So triceps are engaged, Rhomboids are engaged. Those are the muscles between your shoulder blades. Feel that the arms are just a little higher than the back so that you're engaged there. Engage your core. Try to take your ribs off your thighs. Deep breaths in and away. And then inhale. Come all the way up to stand. Take a breath here, and as you're exhaling, come into chair pose. If you're dizzy, pause for a minute. Just stop. When you're ready, find your chair. Do you like your left foot? Do you like your right foot? Where do you tend to gather your yielding easiest? Balance if you can. Find some yielding here. Maybe your arms want to be back. Maybe your arms want to be up. Maybe your arms want to be out. What's giving you your breath? What's giving you a sense of flow, even though there's a lot of solidity in a pose like this? Inhale, rise all the way up. Take a deep breath. Exhale and fold forward. Separate your feet. Give yourself some room. Inhale for a halfway lift. Exhale and melt. Step back to a plank. Take your foot. You never bring that one back first. Take that one back first. Find your way to a stable posture. Experiment with where flow is in this pose. Where do you feel it? Maybe it's in your face. Maybe there's surrender that can happen in small little pockets that can teach the rest of your body to yield. Are your joints, your elbow joints, a little teeny bit loose? Can you find the yield push through your hands? And then put your knees down onto the ground. Slowly lower yourself down to the floor. Take a deep breath. Cobra pose, open the chest. Exhale and release back down. Let's try again. So especially if you're very mobile in the lumbar spine, if you can bend and arch your back easily, make sure you're supporting yourself with the front body. Exhale and release. Let's bring our arms down at our sides. Take your legs together or apart. You decide where you want to be, and we're going to lift everything up. So some work in the back body. Find that strength. Hug in. Find your breath. Still feeling flow, even though you're hanging out here. Are your glutes active? Are your feet active? Is the back of your neck long? And then release and surrender. Turn your head to the side. Arms are still down at your sides. And windshield wiper your feet left and right. Deep breaths in. Float away. Okay, lay your legs back down. Turn your head the other side. Put your arms and legs where you want them. And just like we did in the beginning of class, feel the breath flow through you. Feel your limbs. Feel that radiating out from the center to the extremities. Can you feel your breath radiate from the deep center to your crown and tail and back again? Where are you able to surrender into the floor? All right, and then when you're ready, bring yourself back up onto all fours. All right, so move around any way you want. So you can swirl through your hips, you can move through your shoulders, you can do some cat-cows, whatever is going to give you that sense of freedom. Lift up to dog pose when you're ready. Lengthen through your spine. Take a deep breath in. Right leg lifts up in the air. Hips stay square for a moment. Engage through your legs. Feel the flow of your breath. And then when you're ready, stack your right hip over your left hip. Open up into the rim of your body. Breathe wherever you're feeling a stretch. Just take your breath deeply there. There's a muscle along the inside rim of your hip bone, your iliacus, that connects with your psoas. Just see if you can find a little freedom in that muscle. And then square the hips. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, bring your foot forward. Come up when you're ready. Crescent lunge, arms coming to the sky. So take your time. If you need some transition time to settle, find your way. Arms can be where you want them to be. Extend through the back leg. Feel the openness through the hip flexors here. Reach your arms up. Find the breath. And then exhale and reach your hands down. Onto blocks you go. Lift that leg in the air. Extend the spine. Let's flow here. Exhale. Tight little, snug up little ball, just like when we were on our back in the beginning. Inhale, flow outward from your center to your head and tail and foot. Exhale, draw in. One more time. Inhale, get big and wide. When we come back into a diva squat, find this one-footed squat. Maybe your hands come up off the blocks and your palms come to your heart, or your arms stretch out. Find the concentration here of not only hugging into the center, but balance. Is your breath still able to flow? Even if your balance is wonky. Let's put our hands back onto the block. Stretch that leg straight. Exhale, place your left foot down next to your right foot. Inhale for a halfway lift. Exhale and melt back down. Two toes to touch. Squat down, arms back. Notice if your right leg is a little dominant here from the one-legged squats. Inhale, chair pose. Exhale. We're going to come up onto our tippy toes. Inhale up. Feel your balance. Even if you're not balancing well, still feel the sense of flow. Heels down. Detach yourself from the experience of steadiness. Find the steadiness where you find it. Let go where you don't find it. So don't attach to it. One more time. Up you go. Up onto your tippy toes. Focus your vision. This can be your steadiness, even if your body's not. And then heels down, chair pose. Arms where you want them. Maybe you want your palms together or arms back. Maybe you want your arms overhead. Knees back into the pelvis. Feel the squats. Let your thighs come into some blood flow. Deep inhales. Deep exhales. All right, and stand up straight. Exhale and melt forward. Inhale for a halfway lift. Exhale and release. Step back to dog pose. 2 hands on the floor, 2 feet on the floor. What do you want to do here? What's going to enhance your ability to flow? Maybe you need to bring your knees down onto the ground and rest for a moment. Maybe you need to move around. Maybe you need very deep stillness to find the flow of breath moving through you. So whatever's working in your body, stay. Let the eyes surrender, close the eyes. Deep breaths in. Long exhales away. Come into the rhythm of your breath. From here, let's lift the left leg, square hips at first, feel the work. And then as you're ready, stack. Try not to let the right side of your body fall. There's still a little bit of loft and lift. Bend your knee if you want, straighten your leg if you want. Feel where you're feeling. If you can access that inner rim of the hip bone, the iliacus, bring your breath deeply right there into the inner hip bone. See if your breath can take you into that length of your muscle fibers without a sense of blocking. Square the hips again, and when you're ready, bring your foot forward. Come into a lunge. Find your inhale. Come up slow or fast, whichever's working for you. Remember, you can always take your foot out to the side more if you need a lot more width in your body. You can lunge deeply, you can lunge less deep, so just find where your body goes. Arms, same thing. What's contributing to a sense of flow within you? Where's your breath most easily accessed? Both the fullness of the inhale and the completeness of the exhale. Where is your yielding? Are your joints able to find their way into a little bit of softness? Okay, and then let's release our hands down. Blocks are nice, but maybe you're on the floor. Stretch that leg behind you. The spine gets long. Exhale, tuck knee behind knee. Curl in. Inhale, push out. Exhale, curl in. One more time. Feeling the breath move you. Steady yourself here. Maybe your hands stay on the blocks. Maybe your palms come off the blocks. Maybe your arms come out. Maybe your hands come in. Feel that hugging to the center. Find stability, but find flow. Where's your yielding? Try not to fix problems. There's no solution here. There's only presence. Okay, hands back down. Stretch that leg in the air. Place your foot down onto the ground. Inhale for a halfway lift. Exhale and melt back down. Take your hands, when you think about coming back to a plank, which foot do you want to bring back first? Whatever foot that is, bring the other one back. Discover the road less traveled. Shoulders away from the ears. Feel your breath. Deep inhale. Long, steady exhale. And put your knees down, come all the way to the floor. Interlace your hands behind your back, unless this is not your favorite way to be. Even if it isn't your favorite way to be, do it unless it's an unsafe way to be. Okay? So find your breath. We're gonna lift everything up. So before you lift up, hug the shoulder blades toward each other. Notice how the back body can easily work, but then maybe the front body falls. Integrate the front body and the back body. Take a deep breath in, everything comes up. Legs can be close or far from each other. The back of the neck stays long, the breath is deep. All right, go ahead and surrender. Relax down, turn your head to one side, pick up your feet. Windshield wiper your knees left and right. Deep inhales, deep exhales. Relax your legs, turn your head. One more time. Feel the movement of breath in your body. Sometimes having your front body on the floor gives you better feedback of where your breath is moving. Notice, where is it going? All right, come up onto all fours. Find any kind of movement in your spine that is right for you, that works for you. Curl the toes under, lengthen again. Either jump your feet forward or walk your feet forward and come to a wide squat. Elbows inside your knees, feel the deep hip flexion, getting into our hips now. Stretch your sit bones back and wide and sink the hips down a little bit. Breathe deeply. Inhale, stand up. Reach the arms to the sky, heel toe your feet in. Close your eyes for a moment, yield. Bring your arms down at your sides. Find your breath. All right, so take your feet to the long edge of your mat. Turn sideways. Feet are wide. We're going to come into some goddess poses. So turn your knees out. For the first one, don't go very deep. Just bend your knees a little bit, just so you can feel the external rotation. So we're not going really deep into a squat here. Just a little bit of a bend in the knees. And then turn the toes out. Bring the heels in. Find the work in the outer hips and just notice if you're stronger, more open, more free on one side than the other. Just the teeniest bit of bend in the knees. Just open up the hip joints. All right, and then straighten the legs. And now we get to come into a deeper squat. So maybe you want your hands on your knees. Maybe we're going to come up in just a moment. So maybe everybody try the ease of bringing your hands down. Try not to have your shoulders locked up toward your ears. Okay. Come into a deep squat. Let the inner thighs stretch. Do the same thing with your feet. Hug your heels in. Toes turn out. Find the work in the hips. All right, and then stand up. Starfish your body. Take a deep breath. Exhale, palms together. Now we're upright. The spine is upright. Maybe your hands want to be somewhere different. Maybe you're higher in your lunge. Maybe you're deep in your lunge. So you go where you go. Find the breath. Use your feet. Engage those deep muscles in your hips. Maybe you want to kind of sway side to side. Maybe stillness feels better for your flow. It's easy to lock things out here. Move the breath. Move the breath through you. It's okay to shake. Still move the breath through you. stand up straight. Bring the arms up, heel toe your feet straight, and come down to rest. Lengthen through your spine. Deep inhale, deep exhale, softness in the knees. Walk the hands forward on the mat. Walk the feet back on the mat. So dog pose again. Deep breaths in. Deep breaths away. Just notice how you've been opening up the pelvis. What's here? All right, and then let's walk your feet forward. Come into Uttanasana. Inhale for a halfway lift. Exhale and melt back down. Climb up, stand up straight and tall. Take a deep breath, open up your arms, and then come down. For yet another balance pose, let's bring our knee into our chest. Stretch the spine a little bit longer. And then release that. So if you have a block, it's okay if you don't, but if you do have a block, come and stand up. You might need some support of a wall or a piece of furniture. So we're just going to swing the legs. So hopefully that's enough height underneath you to find the swing. So I want you to feel that your psoas has a lot of mobility in it, in your hip. So the leg you're standing on is nice and stable. If you want to do this without holding on, you can. All right, now we're going to come up, staying on that block if you can. If you're on the floor, that's great too. Bring the knee to in line with the hip or a little higher, whichever works for you. Find your breath. Engage right through here, through the hip flexors. Instead of feeling that the hips are doing the work, find it in your core. Your hip psoas is one of your deepest, strongest core muscles. Lift up through your spine. And then relax. And one more time. Coming into a swing. All right, and then relax that. Change sides. If you don't have a block, you can't really do the swing part of this, but you can certainly do the flexion part of this. Okay, so stand up. If you have a wood block, that's better than a foam block for this. But whatever you got is fine. Okay, if you need some support, take a wall or something and find your way. So support can be very helpful. A lot of movement here. It can be, just a lot of balance, especially standing up on a little precipice. Just feel loose, like your hip can swing. A little bit of stability in your back so you're not overarching the back. All right, and then stand on that block, or if you're on the floor, stand on the floor. We're going to bring the knee into the chest, lift the spine. You can still be holding onto something if need be. Find the breath, extend through your spine, and then lower that knee down. Arms can be on the sides or holding on to something. Feel that you're holding your knee up from right here, not from your glutes, not from anywhere else except for this short little lever between your femur bone and your spine. Deep breaths. Do you have more aliveness or less on this side? Okay, and then relax. A couple more swings. Just let that loosen up. Breathing. Okay. And then come back. Come into dog pose. Extend through your spine. Find your breathing again. Inner spiral your thighs. This will help your psoas muscles relax a little bit. Deep breaths. Inhale, lift the right leg up. Square hips at first. Feel the psoas on your left side engage. Then open up, stack hip over hip. Bend the knee if you want, and just stretch open through your belly. Exhale, and bring that foot forward. Change sides. Lift your left legs, hips are square at first. Feel the engagement of your psoas on the right, and then stack open the left. If you want to bend your knee, bend your knee. Deep breath into the belly. Find your flow. And then square that. Place your foot down onto the ground. Inhale, come forward into a plank. Hold yourself steady. Find your breath. Lower yourself down. Maybe you want to come to up dog, any back bend you want. All right, and then relax. Come up onto all fours. Bring your right foot forward, your left knee stays on the ground. Back to the psoas stretch on this side. Find your breath. Reach both arms up to the sky, or not. Okay, so hug your front heel and your back knee toward you. This will engage your psoas in the back leg at the same time as stretching it. So you have that little stretch flex in that muscle, which is very good for your muscles, very therapeutic. Extend upward. And then we're going to find a little twist here. So stretch your arm, place your elbow on your knee. Other hand is on your thigh to keep your spine long and spacious, and twist here. Still opening the psoas in that back leg. So feel the length, a gentle hug of your front heel and back knee toward each other to support your length, have a little structure within the length. Let your breath travel. And release your hands. Come back onto all fours, maybe back to child's pose. When you're ready, come to the second side. Finding a lunge here. When you come up, so enjoy the stretch through the hip flexor, but try not to fall. So this is the collapse, when we just fall into the stretch. Have a little structure within the stretch, so the front heel and the back knee find each other, hugging toward each other. Can you feel that? Can you feel that the hip flexors on your right, in your right front of your thigh and in your belly have some structure? They have some stability within the stretch. Both arms, one arm, whichever you want to rise up. And then we're going to find a twist on this side. Hand on your thigh, elbow crosses over. Deep breath. Feel the psoas open. Hug to the inner thighs, hug them toward the midline. This will keep your pelvis structured well. So feel the difference. Fall away from your midline with your inner thighs and notice your sacrum, the sinking that happens. And then find your midline. Hug your inner thighs toward the midline and notice the transfer through to the sacrum. Flowing the breath. And then release the hands down onto the ground. Child's pose. So bring your knees however is comfortable for you. Maybe together feels good. Just let your psoas muscles relax for a moment in flexion. Okay, let's go ahead and come onto your back. Stretch your legs out for a moment. Have a moment of just resting. Just rest the body. Fall into the earth again. Feel the flow. Notice where you might feel alive, fatigued, warm, cold, breath moving, breath not moving. All right, and we're going to take a pretty passive stretch with the psoas now. Loosen up after all the work we've done. So grab your block or a blanket. If you have the ability to have your heels close to a wall, that's helpful, but it's not essential. So if you're in the middle of a room, don't go moving yourself. It's totally fine. Bend your knees for a moment. Let's put the block on the lowest height. If you're using a blanket, put a blanket underneath your pelvis. Before we straighten our legs, just surrender. Put your hands on your belly. Start, find your sternum. Walk to the very bottom of your sternum where your ribs come in to meet. And then just walk down a little bit from there and just visualize your spine. And then take your finger pads and create a little V from your spine to your femur bones. Not your hip bones, but all the way to your femur bones. And this is the trail of the psoas. Just see what it feels like to imagine those big, strong muscles. Maybe someday soon I'll get the anatomy up again and show the psoas muscles. There's such big, strong muscles in the body, and they're very much involved in our fight or flight. So when we are stressed, trying to problem solve, trying to fix, these muscles can get bound. All right, now if you feel comfortable, You can straighten both legs with your feet coming to the wall. If this is way too much of a back pose for you, you get to do one leg at a time. So you're gonna bend your knee, put your foot on the floor, and the other leg stretches. Arms can come overhead. If you like the feeling of two legs, stretch your heels into the wall and open. This is a back bend, lower body back bend. So just enjoy the open pelvis. Maybe you want your feet wider apart. Maybe you want your feet pointing straight up. So just experiment. What's going to give you ease in your back so that you can open up the psoas muscles. Now take a deep breath and let the breath travel down the psoas. If you're doing one-legged switch, visualize those muscle fibers lengthening with breath. See if you can transmit the flow that your breath feels right into the muscle fibers themselves. Imagine all the little cells having flow within them. All right, and then bend your knees. You can stay on your block or you can take it out. And we're just going to bring our knees to our chest and enjoy some passive flexion in the psoas muscles. So don't pull. Try to relax your hips. Deep breath in. Deep breath away. You don't have to have your knees so close in. They can be, but perhaps your psoas is relaxed a little bit more when the flexion is softer. All right, let's go ahead and if you want to lift your legs up for a moment, sneak in a little inversion, you can. And when you're ready, you can come off that block. And bring yourself down to the floor. Let's bring our knees wide. So bring them out as far as they comfortably go. And just rock a little bit, knees toward the chest. And then you can grab onto your feet for a happy baby pose. Rock a little bit. Just kind of countering the back bend if there's any strain in your back. And then release your legs down. Right foot, or you can do one of two hip stretches here. Either cross your right thigh over your left thigh and bring your knees toward your chest. Maybe even grab your feet, or you can do reverse pigeon pose, where your right foot sets on top of your left knee and you reach and grab your shin. You can always put your foot against a piece of furniture or a wall. So you just choose how you want to stretch your hip. Do you want to be still? Do you want to be mobile? Are you still moving through the flow of your breath? So even though we're cooling down now and kind of coming to the close of our practice, enjoy the breath that you've been cultivating through your practice. Enjoy the flow. See if you can let your body yield into the floor. Feel the support below you. Relax what you can. Remember, if you want to be full, empty yourself out. If you want to be reborn, let part of you die. What can you surrender and let go? When you release something, there's room, there's space. Space just for space itself, or maybe space for something else to come take its place. All right, relax that. Switch sides. Put your left foot on top of your right knee, or cross your left thigh over your right thigh. However you feel best, stretching your hips. Let's go ahead and find the depth that's right for you. Do you want to move? Do you want to be still? Enjoy the fact that you're on your back. There's a melting that naturally happens when we are surrendered into the ground. So allow yourself to feel this. Breathe deeply. and then surrender and relax. Take a moment before we do a twist. Take a moment for Supta Baddha Konasana. The soles of the feet come together. Let your knees butterfly out to the side. Just for a couple of breaths. Just feel open across your pelvis. Deep belly breaths. And then let's pick our knees up. Twist to each side. Knee, the pelvis to the right, knees to the left. Just enjoy. Let things settle in the body. Inhale, lift your knees. Scoot your hips the other way. Knees come up and drop to the side. Breathe deeply. All right, when we come to Shavasana, let's take some time to figure out a way where our psoas muscles that we've been concentrating a lot, I want you to be able to find a lot of ease. So either a lot of support underneath your knees, or perhaps maybe if you have furniture nearby, you can bring your legs up onto a piece of furniture like this, or stick 2 blocks with a blanket under on top, or a bolster, whatever you have some support. Okay, so let there be some flexion in your psoas where it's very soft, that you're not stretched or deeply flexed. You're just in this very neutral place. If you have a sandbag, does anybody have a sandbag? Wouldn't that be me? I have a sandbag. If anybody wants to borrow a sandbag, I have some sandbags. If you have something to put weight down onto the top, so right at your hip bones and melt a little bit, that's great too. So whatever you have, allow your body to come into deep surrender. Flow. Let your breath continue to flow. Can you feel the flow of the earth below you? Become one. Feel that yielding, that you really have a relationship with the earth. Even though you're on the floor, feel the relationship of the earth below you. Receive your breath from there. Give your breath to there. Relax your eyes. Melt and soften what you can. Become the flow.
Begin to deepen your breathing. Be still. Enjoy the conscious rest. Surrender. Empty your mind as best as you can and stay in the breath. There was something formless and perfect before the universe was born. It is serene, empty, solitary, unchanging, infinite, eternally present. It is the mother of the universe. For lack of a better name, I call it the Tao. It flows through all things, inside and outside, and returns to the origin of all things. The Tao is great. The universe is great. Earth is great. Humankind is great. These are the four great powers. Man follows the earth. Earth follows the universe. The universe follows the Tao. The Tao follows only itself. So let's follow the flow. Be the flow. And find your way, breathing your way into some movement, coming onto your side as you're ready. Go ahead and sit up straight and tall when you are able to, when you feel comfortable. Suspend the concrete self. Stay in the rhythmic flowing self. Place your palms together and breathe your way into your prayers. Send your energy outward. Namaste. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for being here.